your Seattle area real estate market watch. Hey everyone, today it's Friday, May 30th. I'm Brennan Klaus and I'm your local Seattle area real estate agent. As always, let's start with the headlines on the interest rate. So the interest rates have come down slightly. They were back where they started at the beginning of the week. The news is talking a lot about the news that came out about the court ruling that would block the imposition of some of the recently announced tariffs. That caused stocks to go up and the bond market weakened slightly, which would imply that the rates were going to remain steady or go up. But this morning, a lot of the reaction has been a little bit reversed. And so it's reported that after the economic data came out that was somewhat soft, bonds continue to improve. And what this means is that weaker data is good for the bonds and the rates in general. So the average 30-year fix came back to levels that we saw on Monday. So it came back down. Now this is just a little bit down from last week. We saw that interest rate for a 30-year fix was just a little over 7% at 7.03. Today, the interest rate is 6.97% for a 30-year fix, 6.23% for a 15-year fix, and for a 30-year FHA and VA, 6.47 and 6.48 respectively. You can see across the board, these are all up compared to what we've seen in recent weeks, but down a little bit from last week. So that is good news. Again, we're seeing more inventory in the market than we've seen in a long time. A lot of the data shows that we're seeing an increased level of homes that are currently listed for sale in Seattle, as well as an increased number of days on the market. So as we're looking at data, we are tracking that closely. Some single family homes are still going under contract within 1 week, but it really depends on how they're priced and how competitive that style of home is. We heard about one just a couple weeks ago that got 8 offers. That was because it was a single level home, cool mid-century style. And so that plays a big important role. Also had a great backyard. That plays a huge role in what buyers are willing to pay for it and how desirable it is. So that was an anomaly, I would say, in this market, as we're starting to see homes sit on the market longer and sellers have more competition in this market. So things to be aware of as you are going into the market if you're thinking about that. As far as condos, for the past 7 days, we saw a decrease in the number of new listings, down by 70 at 165 this week. In pending condos, we saw a decrease also, as well as sold listings down by 15 and 28 respectively. 188 pending condo listings and 95 sold condo. As far as the residential market goes for single family homes and townhomes, new listings were also down this week, down 273 at 446 new listings on the market. That's a big drop in what we saw the 7 days prior. So we are seeing less inventory come on. Hard to say if we already hit the peak of the spring market. May and June is typically when we see the peak of number of homes go on the market. If you look at historical data, it's always the highest point on the annual chart of new homes listed. So maybe we did hit that peak already, which could be good for sellers because reduced number of new listings means reduced competition for you when selling your home. Pending listings also down 117 at 504, and sold listings down just 1 from the past 7 days prior, and that's at 385. So overall, generally the sense in the market is there is a lot of hesitation. There are buyers out there who are ready to go and get into homes, but with some caveats, because they are looking at what's going on in the economy. They are worried about job loss. Microsoft just had a big layoff. That definitely impacts where people are willing to put their money, and real estate isn't always the first place, especially if, like on the east side, a lot of people have money in the stock market. That can really impact how willing they are to purchase that home. So for sellers, if we have already seen the peak of the season in terms of number of new listings, that could be good news because you could have reduced competition when you're going to sell your home. For buyers, you may have fewer options if that truly was the peak, but there are still more options than we've seen in many years past. We're about at the level we were pre-pandemic in terms of number of new homes or existing homes on the market. So that could be helpful if you are shopping for a home. As always, if you're wanting to strategize what to do in this market, whether you are buying or selling, we're here. Reach out. You can text us or email us for a free consultation call, and we'll talk about the strategy to get you into the right home or to get your home sold. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.